They say the suit makes the man, but what if the suit was hiding something much darker? Mr. Knight isn't just another superhero in a stylish white suit. In fact, some say he's not even a superhero at all. He's something far more complicated, something that challenges everything we think we know about what it means to be a hero. Why does he dress like this? What secrets does the mask hide? And why do some fans say he's even more dangerous than Moon Knight himself? At first glance, Mr. Knight might seem like nothing more than a sleek, tactical version of Moon Knight, someone who fights crime with a bit more finesse. But look closer, and you'll realize there's a deeper reason for his existence. A reason tied not just to the brutality of Moon Knight's past, but to something even more unsettling: the battle for control inside one man's fractured mind. By the end of this video, you'll understand why Mr. Knight is way more than just a cool outfit. But first, let's rewind to where it all began. But before we begin, I'd like to ask you to subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon. If you enjoy this video, don't forget to like and share it. And please drop a comment below to share your thoughts. The first time the world saw Mr. Knight, it wasn't in some grand superhero entrance. No explosions, no epic battle scene, just a man in a suit knocking on a door. Back in 2014, Marvel introduced Mr. Knight in Moon Knight #1, written by Warren Ellis and drawn by Declan Shalvey. And right from the start, it was clear: this was not your typical masked hero. Unlike the brutal, aggressive Moon Knight, this version was different. He didn't skulk in the shadows, didn't terrorize criminals in alleyways. He walked right up to them, looked them in the eye, and handled things in a way that no other hero did. But why did he even exist? Why did Marc Spector, a man already living a chaotic double life, need this new identity? The answer lies in something far more complex than just fighting crime: dissociative identity disorder, DID. Marc Spector isn't just one person, he's several. Each identity inside him serves a purpose. Moon Knight is the warrior, the one who takes the fight straight to his enemies with raw, unfiltered violence. Marc Spector is the original, the broken mercenary trying to hold himself together. Stephen Grant is the billionaire alter, who in the comics finances Moon Knight's crime fighting. Jake Lockley is the street-smart cab driver, gathering intel from the shadows. But then there's Mr. Knight. And this is where things get truly interesting, because his suit isn't just a fashion statement. It's a symbol of something far deeper. So why white? Why the formal look? Why does Mr. Knight dress like he's about to walk into a high-class business meeting instead of a brutal fight? Because the suit isn't just for him, it's for us. Superheroes traditionally hide in the dark. Batman, Daredevil, even Moon Knight himself operate from the shadows, using fear to their advantage. But Mr. Knight, he does the opposite. He wears white because he wants to be seen. It's a power move. It's a declaration. It's a psychological tactic. But more than that, Mr. Knight is the personality that craves control. Marc Spector's mind is a battlefield. He's constantly at war with himself, struggling to maintain order over his fragmented personalities. And Mr. Knight, he's the answer to that chaos. He's the detective, the problem solver, the voice of reason in a world of madness. Where Moon Knight acts out of rage, Mr. Knight acts out of precision. Where Moon Knight is an unrelenting force of nature, Mr. Knight is cold, calculated, and methodical. But this all changed when Mr. Knight made his way into the MCU. Because when Marvel Studios introduced him, they turned him into something completely unexpected. Marvel took one of its most mysterious and intimidating characters and did something nobody saw coming. They made him funny. When Mr. Knight appeared in Moon Knight 2022, fans were stunned. Instead of the calm, detective-like figure from the comics, he was something completely different. He was Stephen Grant. Wait, Stephen? The timid, soft-spoken British gift shop worker? How did Marvel take one of the most cold-blooded characters in Moon Knight's world and turn him into the awkward comedic relief? And the real question is, was it a mistake? Marvel made a drastic change. Instead of being Marc Spector's calculated street-level alter ego, the Mr. Knight persona in the MCU was given to Stephen Grant. And this changed everything. Instead of a no-nonsense crime fighter, MCU's Mr. Knight was confused, clumsy, not intimidating at all. He wasn't the one solving crimes. He was struggling to even figure out what was happening. And while many fans were frustrated by this change, there's a reason why it actually works. This version of Mr. Knight gave Stephen Grant his own way of being a hero. Instead of being just another side of Mark, he became something unique, a personality that fights battles in his own way. It's different, it's controversial, but it's one of the most interesting reimaginings of a Marvel character we've seen. Mr. Knight isn't just another alias, he's a philosophy, a concept. In a world filled with superheroes who rely on brute force, superpowers, and unstoppable willpower, Mr. Knight stands apart because his battles aren't just physical, they're deeply psychological. He is the answer to chaos, the personality that fights for control in a mind that is constantly at war with itself. While other superheroes fight external enemies, Mr. Knight's greatest battle is within. If you look at Marvel's greatest heroes, almost all of them are defined by their ability to overcome their own personal struggles. Spider-Man wrestles with guilt and responsibility. Iron Man fights against his own self-destructive tendencies. The Hulk battles the uncontrollable rage within him. But with Mr. Knight, it's different. He isn't just dealing with one personal struggle. He's dealing with multiple personalities, each with their own conflicting goals, emotions, and identities. And that's what makes him one of Marvel's most complex characters. Moon Knight is an unstoppable force of aggression, a symbol of raw vengeance. But Mr. Knight, he is the mind behind the mask, the strategist, the intellect, the one who brings order to the madness. But here's the twist. Does he actually have control, or is that just an illusion? Mr. Knight is an enigma. He presents himself as calm, collected, and methodical, but at his core, he is still part of a man who is deeply fractured. He acts like he has things under control, but how much of that is real, and how much is just a mask? And here's the bigger question. Is Mr. Knight truly a hero, or is he something much darker? In the comics, he doesn't always act like a traditional hero. Sometimes he operates outside the law. Sometimes he manipulates the system. And sometimes he's willing to cross lines that even Moon Knight wouldn't dare to. That's what makes him so fascinating. He's not the strongest. He's not the most powerful. But he might be the most dangerous version of Marc Spector. And if that's true, then maybe we've been looking at Mr. Knight all wrong. Because if Moon Knight is the chaotic force of vengeance, then what happens when the quiet, calculated Mr. Knight finally loses control? Let me know in the comments. Do you think Mr. Knight is a true hero, or is he something more dangerous? And if you love deep dives into Marvel's most mysterious characters, hit that subscribe button. Because trust me, we're just getting started.